Are you struggling to make outfits on Dress to Impress without VIP? Feel like giving up because you're not getting on that podium? Well, fear not, because today, my Zesty Besties, we are playing Dress to Impress with no passes at all. I will also be going through the ins and outs of Dress to Impress for those of you who may be beginners. This will be purely a free play gameplay. If you enjoy content like this, guys, don't forget to subscribe to be part of the Zesty Besties squad and give this video a big fat thumbs up. Let's get into today's video. So you guys, before we get into really how to do Dress to Impress without VIP, I want to go over some things first. Before we get into the actual game, I want you guys to stop what you're doing and go over to this board on the left-hand corner. Once you're at this board over here, I want you to click the words free play mode and click join. You're going to be magically teleported into a Dress to Impress game without time restraints. You're definitely going to want to familiarize yourself with everything in Dress to Impress first before you dive into playing an actual game. I honestly really wish they had this when I first started playing Dress to Impress because it's very confusing. And you guys, things change on a dime, so you need to really keep up with where everything is in the game. Knowing where things are in Dress to Impress will really help you really get better at this game. So if there's a new update going on, I highly recommend going back into free play and really familiarizing yourself. Now, granted, a lot of things in free play aren't in the actual game, like the things back there, but don't worry about that too much because you're going to want to worry about everything on the floor. The number one thing that you want to prioritize knowing is where the salon is. Now, granted, right now it does say LINA, but usually it'll say LANA salon. This is where you have your nails, your hair, and your makeup. Everything here is vital for the top part of your face. Nails are really important when it comes to Dress to Impress because you want to really elevate your looks and make them look polished. Now, the default is going to be this really weird red color, so if you're doing a theme that's not red related, you're going to want to change them right away. A lot of people do things differently, but the first thing I do is change my nails completely, otherwise I will forget. Now, you want to put a pin in where this is and go to the skin section because this should be the first thing you really genuinely change. The skin tones are located in these little tubes over here. This is something that can be easily missed when you're playing the game, and you could honestly forget to do it by the time you're done with your outfit. I highly recommend going to one first and clicking whichever skin tone fits you the best. Once you pick your skin tone, the rest is up to you, but me personally, I like to coordinate my outfit first and then go to hair and makeup and then coloring. 9 out of 10 times, coloring should be the last thing you do because you want to make sure you have the foundation of your outfit down. That way, if you run out of time, at least you have something on and not just wandering around to try to find outfits. This is probably one of the most used walls that I use all the time. It has your hats, it has your shoes, it has some sunglasses. This wall back here is also one that I use a lot, so we'll get into that in a second. For me personally, I build from the bottom up, but a lot of people do from the top down, so it's totally up to you on how you play the game. I like to generally coordinate my shoes first before figuring out the rest of my outfit. If I know the theme has something to do with classy or something very elegant, I try to go for these heels most of the time. If it's a little more simpler, I like to do just a sneaker to kind of just make it pop a little bit. It totally depends on the theme given to you, so this is something you have to assess when you're playing the game. Hats are another really big thing that you want to utilize. A lot of them have toggles, which is these things. These are called toggles. You want to familiarize yourself with that completely. Toggles really help utilize the best way to really make your outfit shine. So for a hat, for example, if you have really big hair going on, you're going to want to use a toggle to make it more towards the back of your head. And also the way that people use faces are a little different depending on who you are as a person. Me personally, if I'm using a smaller hair, I'm going to want to make sure the hat is flat on my face. But you can also tilt it back a little bit for a different look. It just depends on how you're dressing. So now that we've gotten shoes and hats out of the way, we can look a little bit into sunglasses, but this is something that you really need to just do at the end. Building foundations of your outfit is probably the first thing you want to do, and then worry about accessories later on if time is permitted. The best thing that you want to focus on is just trying to do whatever is free. Don't focus too much on things that are ticketed because you're going to need a lot of tickets just to get one thing, and the more you spend, the worse it's going to be because you're going to have to keep doing it every time. I tend to worry less about ticketed items because yes, they will help your outfits, but there are other ways to really vamp up your looks without having to worry about it. My number one thing that I highly recommend doing is doing all the code items right now. If you're someone who's missing any of the code items, feel free to check out my videos that will be linked in the descriptions down below. It has every single code video in it, and there's a comment that's always updated every time there's a new code given. So I highly recommend checking it out if you don't have any of the codes. I'm not going to go over that in this video, but feel free to go ahead and check them out. The code items are something you're going to definitely want to utilize because they're free to all players, and this is something you really want to take advantage of. Another thing that you want to take advantage of is that there's events going on. Events are a huge thing in Dress to Impress, and they don't last that long. For example, one of the first events I remember is the Easter event, and a lot of you guys in my comments are like, oh my god, everyone has the Easter outfits. They don't, you guys. If you didn't play during the Easter event, you don't get it. There's even a little pop-up that says, hey, you have to complete the quest for it, and if you can't do that now, you're not going to get the items. So you definitely want to take advantage of all events. There have been a lot of event items that have come and gone, and these are things that you're going to want to make sure that you do prioritize. Especially if you're someone who doesn't have VIP, these are things that you're really going to look for. My next rule of thumb is to just kind of do a walkthrough. Don't worry too much about it. You're in free play mode. You have no time restraints. Take a good look around the studio. Finding where things are first before you dive into a game is really helpful for someone who's a visual learner. I know for me personally, I'm a huge visual learner, so this is something I had to do. Anytime there's a new update now, I immediately go to free play first and figure out where everything is. Because 9 out of 10 times, everything that's in the general game is going to be in free play because they want you to be able to familiarize yourself with the studio. This is a little tip to my men out out there, if you're going to use the men body, you really only have one wall to work with. So this is something you're going to want to really familiarize yourself with. Everything for the men is pretty much here, plus code items, and that's pretty much all you really have in the game. There are going to be some more accessories obviously down over here, but the majority of your building is going to be right here. Now for my girls, my gays, and my theys, these are things that you're going to want to have to really utilize in the back walls over here. It's pretty much how it's laid out right here. Men go to the left, and girls, gays, and theys are to the right. And you can mix and match accordingly if it is permitted. 99% of the items in this game you cannot put on as a different gender. It's just the rules of the game. It's not something I made up, but it's just how it is. So this is why 99% of people who play Dress and Press play with the female body, because there's a lot more to choose from. It just depends on who you are as a person. If you want to do the male body, there's certainly ways to do it. So now that we've gotten the core places out of the way, you're going to want to completely avoid this room over here. Don't even look at it. It's just going to make it worse for you, and the more you try to get into it, the worse it's going to be. You're not going to be able to get into it, guys. And if you are, congratulations, but you've wasted all your time. So while VIP is really good, the more you play, the more you might be inclined to buy VIP. I know for me personally, I played Dress and Press for 4 months without having VIP, and I never had any problems playing. I actually was doing way better before. Now granted, there were less items to choose from in the VIP section, so it wasn't worth my money, but now I feel like VIP is highly worth it. And if you're someone who can afford it, great, go ahead and get it. If you're someone who can't, don't worry about it too much. You have other ways to really do this. I know for me personally, if you're someone who doesn't have VIP, layering is going to be your best friend. Trial and error is something that's really important when it comes to Dress and Press. I know for me personally, I never really took advantage of this back in the day because layering wasn't a thing when I first started playing Dress and Press. Granted, there were some things you could have layered with, but there wasn't a whole lot of options that we have right now. So I highly recommend taking advantage of the layering system. What I mean by layering is taking an item and adding things on top of it to really make it elevated. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to see an outfit hacks video that might help you later on in the future. With that out of the way, you're going to want to also avoid this wall over here. As much as it looks really nice, you don't have enough money for it. And that's just the reality of it. The more bills you collect, the better. That's why I also highly recommend free play as well, because then you can collect bills without having to actually worry about time. Collecting bills is the #1 thing you want to do when you're playing Dress and Press, because this helps you get more money. The money that you earn can be used to buy cute little accessories, outfits, shoes, everything like that, and also some poses that really help your runway. This is another wall that I really want to highlight because it has all the pants options for you. From long jeans to heavy jeans to skirts to shorts, this is a wall you're going to really want to utilize. This wall is also a huge one you're going to use a lot. This has your earrings, your necklaces, your corsets, your dresses, your bows, your accessories, everything to really make your look shine. Also, something I wanted to note, if you are playing on your phone, you're gonna have to zoom in a lot to click on things, so it can be a little challenging. That's why I highly recommend free play to really test out how to put things on and off on your avatar. To take an item off yourself, you're gonna want to click this icon over here with the little beret. This will pull up every item that you have on right now on your avatar, and you can turn them on and off depending on what you're wearing. You can also utilize this to change the color of things, use fun patterns, or even if there's a toggle to turn it on and off. To remove an item, you're just gonna click this little X in the corner over here. If you are someone who's on a mobile device, it's a little harder because you might end up clicking something else. So try to stay back as far away as you can from the walls when you are removing things. Now, layering is a huge thing in Dress and Press. So when you look at something like this corset over here, you're kind of like, okay, this is kind of serving and really looking good, but how can I elevate it? How can I really make this look better? Some simpler ways to do it is just throw in a little skirt, match it up with the color that you have on the bottom, and here you are, you have a little mini dress. Or if you're someone who's a little more advanced, throwing on different dresses to kind of make this illusion of layers going on really helps as well. Now, granted, this is not a great example. There are certain ways to really focus on layering over here. Now, granted, these are just some examples. You don't have to take my advice, but I think layering will really help you in the long run. This also goes for accessories as well. Layering earrings on top of each other is another great way to utilize these tools, and same thing for necklaces and bracelets as well. Also for headpieces, if you want to really elevate look, if you're using the fascinator, layering a headband on top of it really helps make that look shine. These are just some examples for things. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt and do things how you will. Once you familiarize yourself with every single wall in Dress and Press, you are almost ready to start playing. And I say almost because you're not quite ready yet. Going back to what I said earlier, you guys are definitely going to want to take advantage of poses. This is something that you're going to want to practice in free play first. A lot of these poses are just labeled with numbers, and if you're a first-time player, you have no idea what they're talking about. For example, someone who would do pose 28, it would do something like this. You wouldn't know that if you're not someone who plays Dress and Press that often, and this would be really embarrassing if you're on the runway and you accidentally do pose 28. Now, granted, you guys, poses can be accidentally done on the runway, and it's not that big of a deal depending on what game you're in. But for a lot of people that are playing Dress and Press, if you do a random pose 28 on the runway, you might actually either lose stars or gain stars depending on who you're with. That's why I highly recommend looking at all the poses and figuring out what they do. A lot of poses do a lot of different things, and this will also come into play with pose pack. Once you start buying pose packs, you're gonna really have to familiarize yourself with everything that's going on here. There's a lot of different tools to utilize in Dress and Press when it comes to poses, and there's always pose packs being added every update. So going through and just really familiarizing yourself with all the poses is something that I highly recommend figuring out first before you get into gameplay. Once you feel a little bit more confident with posing, with outfit, getting enough bucks to buy maybe some cool accessories before you start, then you're almost ready to start playing. And I know you guys are thinking,
oh my god, can we just get to the gameplay?
And while in the long run, it sounds like it's a bad thing, but honestly, practice makes perfect. You can even utilize the runway that they have back here. And now granted, there are going to be some trolls in the judges podium, but 9 out of 10 times, some people are here for advice. I know for me personally, when I play as a judge, I like to give people some critiques to really help them elevate their looks. You can also keep a lookout for live streamers who also do this kind of stuff and might be able to help you in the long run. I know for me personally, I'm planning on doing a live stream where I help give you guys tips and tricks on dress and press, so feel free to stick around for that, and it might benefit you in the long run. With all of that out of the way, you guys, you are ready to play dressed and press. Now, while it seems strenuous at first, and it seems like it's so annoying and obnoxious for me to say, this is something that I'm just here to help you guys with. And for me personally, I get so many comments of people saying, I can't do dress and press without VIP. And that's just simply not true. If I could do it for 4 months, you guys can too. It's all about having that keen eye for fashion. And also, you guys have a bigger advantage now than I did when I first started playing because you have code items. So unfortunately, that does mean that you won't get anything on this wall over here, but if you have enough Robux, feel free to buy some of this stuff. This dress is something I highly recommend getting because it's honestly really good for layering. Same with this one over here. The bags are really cute if you like different kind of bags, and this is really cute for like a futuristic look. Otherwise, don't worry too much about this corner over here. It's in a corner for a reason. It's there if you can use it, and it's there if you don't. It doesn't affect you either way, guys, so don't feel pressured to buy things. If you're someone whose parents doesn't let you buy anything, don't worry too much about it. You could still play dress and press and have a fun experience. One last little tip before I get you guys into the gameplay: testing out patterns is something I highly recommend doing as well. Coloring in patterns is something that really helps make or break a look, so definitely do some trial and error first on FREEPLAY before you really get into the game. Alrighty guys, sorry for that long ramble, but hopefully it helped you guys. Let's get into playing dress and press without VIP, without speedwalk, and with nothing that you could really use to buy. Alrighty guys, so the theme is Moon Guardian. Now this is one that's a little bit trickier, but it wasn't too hard because I kind of had a vision in my head. So starting off with skin tone, obviously, and then layering some dresses was the first thing I thought about doing. Now, figuring out that perfect dress is going to be a trial and error, and this is one of the things that I mentioned earlier. Trial and error is huge when it comes to making outfits. At first, that dress wasn't really working out for me, so I switched over to the fashion one, and you know, when you take a step back and really edit your look, it looks better. I even played around with some patterns there, and it didn't really work out either, but it doesn't matter. Trying out new things is the best thing to do. Adding some accessories, layering some jewelry, you got these little puff pads going on, and then we're doing the nails, and then the hair. Don't worry too much about hair. Honestly, you guys, hair is subjective. You make it look cool, you make it don't. Like, I was like, oh, this would be really cute. I took a step back and I was like, I don't really like this. So I switched it up and tried something different, and this one worked out a lot better. Then we head over to makeup. Obviously, I don't have custom makeup, so there's only a certain amount that you can use, but this one actually really worked out. And here's the final look. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this look. And moving on to the runway. Alrighty, besties, it's time for the fashion show. And first up, we have this really cute VIP girly. I do feel like she overlayered, and that's one thing you guys have to be a little cautious about, is putting on too many items at once. Next, we have this girly who could definitely use some tips for my video, so hopefully she watches this later on, because this is a cute look, but it just needs to be elevated a little more. This girl's I thought was really cute, but it wasn't really on theme. It's really cute for a Snow White cosplay or something of Descendants, but it doesn't really have to do with the Moon Guardian. Next is this girly. She's kind of ate a little bit, but it was kind of a little simple in my opinion, but I mean, it was actually really good. Then we have moi. I really thought I did really good for this. Honestly, it shows. I really took a lot of time to really edit this look and really reflect on it. And honestly, for not VIP, this actually is not that bad. And then we have this girl. I wasn't really sure what she was doing. This doesn't even look on theme. I was like checking the chat. Maybe she said something, but nope. And then next we have this girly who I thought was kind of cute. Honestly, I actually really like this one a lot. So this one was definitely one of my favorites as well. And here are the winners. You guys, we got first place. See you guys, my tutorial really helps. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a big fat thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to be part of the 𝗙𝗍𝗹𝗫 squad. Don't forget to join my Roblox troop, linked in the description, and turn post notifications on so you're always notified whenever I post a new video. But I'll see you besties in my next video. Bye everyone!